What happens if you stop sleeping for 7 days? What if you never slept again? For 7 terrifying days, your mind would slowly betray you, reality would crumble, and your body would begin a dangerous journey toward total collapse. Sleep is something we often take for granted. Every night, billions of people willingly surrender consciousness, closing their eyes without questioning why. Yet sleep isn't simply a break from life, it's one of the most essential biological processes ever evolved. While you rest, your brain repairs damaged cells, strengthens memories, balances hormones, clears toxic waste, and prepares your body for another day of survival. Without it, the very system that keeps you alive begins to fail. But what if you refused to sleep? Not for one night, not for two, but for an entire week. How long could the human body endure before reality itself starts falling apart? The answer is more disturbing than most people realize. The first 24 hours without sleep may seem manageable. Many people have experienced staying awake for an entire night because of exams, work deadlines, gaming sessions, or long journeys. At first, the effects appear mild. You feel tired, your eyes become heavy, and concentration becomes harder. But beneath the surface, your brain is already struggling. Reaction times slow dramatically, attention begins to drift, and decision-making becomes less reliable. Studies have shown that after just one full day without sleep, your cognitive performance becomes similar to someone legally intoxicated by alcohol. Your body is technically awake, but your brain is no longer functioning normally. As the second day begins, around 36 to 48 hours without sleep, the situation becomes much more serious. Your body releases increasing amounts of stress hormones like cortisol. Your immune system weakens, making you more vulnerable to illness. Simple conversations become difficult to follow. Memory starts failing. You may forget what someone said just seconds ago or lose track of your own thoughts halfway through a sentence. Your emotions become unstable. Small inconveniences suddenly trigger anger, sadness, or anxiety. The brain is desperately searching for rest, but if sleep never arrives, it starts making dangerous compromises. One of those compromises is something called microsleep. These are tiny episodes where the brain briefly shuts down for a few seconds without your permission. Your eyes may
remain open, but parts of your brain temporarily fall asleep. During those moments, you're completely unaware of your surroundings. Imagine driving a car at highway speed and unknowingly falling asleep for 5 seconds. You could travel the length of a football field without any conscious control. This is why severe sleep deprivation causes thousands of accidents every year around the world. By the third day, roughly 72 hours awake, the line between reality and imagination begins to blur. The brain has now gone so long without its normal recovery process that it starts malfunctioning in unexpected ways. Hallucinations become increasingly common. At first, they may be small shadows moving in your peripheral vision or hearing sounds that
aren't really there. Soon, they can become vivid images, voices, or entire scenes that feel completely real. Your perception of time becomes distorted. Minutes seem like hours, and hours disappear without explanation. You may struggle to recognize familiar faces or remember where you are. The reason this happens lies deep inside the brain. During healthy sleep, especially deep sleep and REM sleep, billions of neurons reorganize themselves, remove unnecessary connections, and strengthen important memories. Without this nightly maintenance, communication between brain regions becomes increasingly chaotic. It's like running the world's most powerful computer continuously without ever restarting it. Eventually, errors pile up until the entire system begins crashing. Around the 4th day, the effects become frightening. Hallucinations grow stronger and more frequent. Many people become paranoid, believing others are watching or following them. Some experience severe confusion, unable to distinguish dreams from reality because the brain begins forcing fragments of REM sleep into wakefulness. You might suddenly experience dreamlike images while fully conscious. This condition, known as REM intrusion, is one of the clearest signs that your brain is desperately trying to repair itself despite your efforts to stay awake. Your physical body is also reaching dangerous limits. Coordination becomes poor. Walking in a straight line becomes difficult. Speech slows. Vision blurs. Your metabolism begins malfunctioning, making it harder for your body to regulate blood sugar. Hunger hormones become unbalanced, causing powerful cravings for sugary, high-calorie foods. Meanwhile, your immune system is becoming significantly weaker. Research shows that even short-term sleep deprivation reduces the activity of natural killer cells, the immune cells responsible for fighting viruses and even certain cancer cells. By the fifth day, approximately 120 hours awake, reality becomes almost impossible to trust. Severe cognitive impairment makes planning, reasoning, and problem-solving extremely difficult. Conversations lose meaning because the brain struggles to process language correctly. Some individuals develop temporary psychosis, displaying symptoms similar to schizophrenia. They may believe impossible events are happening or become convinced of elaborate false ideas. Doctors consider this stage a medical emergency because the risk of injury, accidents, and dangerous behavior rises dramatically. One famous example demonstrating the power of sleep deprivation came from Randy Gardner, a 17-year-old student who stayed awake for 264 hours, just over 11 days, in a supervised experiment in 1964. Throughout the challenge, scientists carefully monitored his condition. As the days passed, he developed memory problems, mood swings, slurred speech, poor coordination, and hallucinations. Yet remarkably, after finally sleeping, most of his symptoms gradually disappeared. His experiment remains one of the longest scientifically documented periods of voluntary sleep deprivation ever recorded, although modern researchers strongly discourage repeating it due to the significant health risks involved. As the sixth day arrives, your brain is operating in survival mode. Entire sections may periodically switch offline through longer microsleeps. You could be speaking one moment and suddenly lose awareness the next. Your body's internal clock, controlled by the circadian rhythm, becomes completely disrupted. Hormones regulating temperature, digestion, and metabolism begin falling out of sync. Blood pressure rises, inflammation increases, and the cardiovascular system experiences greater stress. Although healthy people may survive this stage, the danger of life-threatening complications continues to grow, especially for anyone with existing medical conditions. By the seventh day, approximately 168 hours without sleep, the human brain is barely functioning as intended. Hallucinations may become constant. Severe confusion dominates nearly every thought. Emotional control almost disappears. Some individuals cannot recognize family members or understand where they are. The distinction between dreams and reality nearly vanishes because the brain is desperately forcing fragments of sleep into every possible moment. Medical intervention becomes essential, as prolonged sleep deprivation can trigger seizures, worsen heart conditions, suppress immune function, and dramatically increase the likelihood of catastrophic accidents. Scientists still debate exactly how long a human could survive without sleep because deliberately conducting such experiments would be deeply unethical. Animal studies paint an even darker picture. Laboratory rats subjected to total sleep deprivation eventually developed immune failure, severe metabolic disturbances, loss of body temperature regulation, and ultimately death. While humans have not been ethically studied to that extreme, these findings highlight one terrifying truth: sleep is not optional. It is as fundamental to survival as food, water, and oxygen. Every night, while you believe you're doing nothing, your brain is actually performing one of the most complex maintenance operations in nature. It flushes away toxic proteins through the glymphatic system, strengthens learning, regulates emotions, repairs tissues, and prepares every organ for another day of life. Missing one night leaves you exhausted. Missing several nights slowly dismantles the very machinery that creates your thoughts, memories, and identity. Perhaps the most unsettling part of this story is that sleep deprivation doesn't announce itself dramatically at first. It begins quietly, with slower reactions, forgotten words, and poor decisions. But day by day, those tiny failures grow into hallucinations, paranoia, and the collapse of reality itself. The greatest danger isn't simply staying awake. It's believing you're still thinking clearly when your brain has already begun shutting itself down. Because in the end, sleep isn't something your body wants. It's something your brain cannot survive without. Tonight, when you close your eyes, remember this: sleep isn't wasted time, it's survival itself. Because losing a week of sleep could mean slowly losing the very thing that makes you human.